We'll wait. We'll start and then just let her join us. Okie dokes. Did we finish?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
I
Just
finished too
now.
early, so I don't know what's going on anymore. I had to kind of review with the Audible.
Mhm.
But do you guys like it?
Well,
What do you think?
It's pretty
I
cute.
like
Someone was talking and then
Go for it, Julie.
okay, I like the concept of like that they're going back and reviewing all these trips and that they went on all these trips. But then like sometimes when they're on the trip I get like distracted and I find myself like feeling like I'm missing key stuff and rewinding and then I'm like, oh no. They didn't really say anything that important. And then they just keep talking about Croatia, so I'm curious about that.
I
Mhm.
know. I think they hooked up or they went, they crossed the line and then they're like, wait, no, we shouldn't have.
I won't say what happens.
I know, Paula.
No.
You can't really say much because you already read it. But hello, welcome.
Hi, sorry I'm late.
It's okay.
Did I miss anything?
No, we just started. I just also said, I think the longest we'll wait is 10 minutes, and then if people show up late, that's fine.
Yep.
Or grace period and check-in.
We had just begun.
Am I interpreting this correctly that like when it goes back in time, it's like a different trip each time, right? And I think it's slowly like going towards the present. So I think
Yep.
towards the end we're gonna get the Croatia trip, and the next chapter will be like now.
The present,
Yep.
yeah.
It's intriguing, but I agree with Julie. It's just a little bit confusing for me because then I get like sucked into like, oh, this trip sounds fun, and I kind of like forget about like the other kind of plot on the side. So I reread a little bit of it too today.
Palm Springs and the wedding. I just find it interesting that there's a wedding at the end, and it's like the brother, I think,
Mhm.
wanted her there. So it's interesting that like they weren't talking for 2 years or so, or like there was a big gap, but yet they were still like, "Oh yeah, come through," and I'm like,
Maybe the brother didn't know they had a falling out.
That's true.
Because he seems like someone that would like keep things close to the chest kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? I bet he didn't even talk about what happened.
I can see that.
I've also been trying to figure out like who initiated like the no contact because he said at one point, I didn't think you wanted me to like talk to you.
I feel like they both just like maybe if they did hook up or whatever, felt like it was awkward and then they just both didn't. Like it wasn't a set like I'm not gonna talk to you, sorry, kind of thing. I feel like they just kind of drifted apart and never, like they just started assuming, oh, they don't want to talk to me. Oh, they didn't do this,
Like a very awkward.
Yeah. But like they clearly like each other.
Yeah. In this last chapter where it's like, I'm happy as, or what did she say? What was the last line? It was like,
I'll never be alone again when he's around.
yeah, exactly. As long as I have him, yeah, I will never be alone again. And it's like she's kind of like holding back from saying that she loves him, but deep down she's like, the what if is 5%, but really in her heart it's stronger.
Yeah. I think she's trying to save the friendship.
Yeah, don't you think she's kind of in denial?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 1000%. She's like, no, my friend. But yeah, totally in denial.
This takes her.
And like he's looking up jobs in her city, so isn't that a sign that
I
he wants to be with her?
know. Yeah.
Yeah, do you guys think he's in denial too, or just her?
I feel like he's shy and doesn't really just know how to approach the whole like let's be more than friends kind of thing. Cause like the fact that he's looking for jobs there, it's more like maybe he's trying to inch his way to like see her more often or whatever. But then there's that Sarah girl that I'm like, I don't know.
I think she might be more in denial than he is because of some of the things he has said about like her first relationship, I think, with the guy that he said like, oh, he doesn't know like how lucky he is to have you and things like that. So I feel like he kind of does see her like in a romantic sense, but I think maybe that she seems to like be afraid of being alone and stuff. So maybe she's in denial that that's even a possibility for her. I don't know. We just cutting something, so I'm gonna go back on mute.
Yeah,
I feel like
oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I feel like they're maybe both in denial, and his argument is like, oh, she doesn't want to have kids or like get married or live in Ohio, so I can't have these feelings for her because she doesn't want what I want.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't need it. Oh.
Yeah, I feel like she thinks maybe she's not his type or something, but it seems like he's into her.
I was wondering, do you guys find them? So one of the things like of people that didn't like the book is that they said that they found the characters to be annoying. I don't think so,
Mm-mm.
but what do you guys think?
No, I feel like they're cute. Like they're easy to follow. And I mean, just learning about their stories, I like them. I guess I can see maybe like because they're in denial, people are gonna be like, oh, just like get over it. But
Open your eyes. Realize
yeah,
that you
but I
love
don't think
each
no.
other. I agree. I don't think they're annoying. And I'm wondering if maybe it's because it's like he's very introverted and is very like not like other men, and then she is like an influencer, and you're like, oh great, like of posting stuff and making it seem like what we already see on social media that's not real, and yet she's making money this way. But I was listening to it just to recap and try and remember the stuff, and I feel like maybe the Audible was more annoying than when I read it, because me reading it, I thought it was great. I just wanted to keep going, and
Mhm.
they're fine. I like them. They're cute. They're just in denial because they've been friends for like forever.
The tone is definitely really hard to get past on the Audible because she's just like, I don't know, she's the tone that she speaks in is kind of funny.
She's actually been the reader on a few other books that I have. Julie actually remembered because she's on Addie LaRue, which we both read. It's the same reader. And I think she's been the reader on another one of these Emily Henry books too that I read. And she's kind of interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, like I thought it was really a good voice for Addie LaRue, but this one I'm like, ugh. And that's weird.
And last time I listened to it, and this time I'm reading it. So it's like I'm having a different experience with it.
And it is different because it's like you're creating, the voices, and you're also creating, like if they're screaming at each other, like that one part where, that New York scene where he was like, well, you don't want what I want, and I want kids. I want to be in Ohio. And like listening to that, I was like, oh my, ah, or like I think she was crying in one of them, or like making it seem like she was crying, and I'm like, wow, that's not how I read it. I mean, I read it intensely, but not like in tears kind of thing. So it definitely affects how you take the story.
That sounds super angsty. For me, I like the characters. I think they're quirky and kind of dorky, and so I really appreciate that. I think like that's a little bit how I am too sometimes. I like getting to know the characters through the aspect of travel because I feel like in real life you get to know people really well when they travel because you can see like if something doesn't go according to plan, like how people react and okay, can we regroup and how they help each other too. So I feel like it's compared to other books we've read that are romance books, I think it's like a unique way to get to know the characters. And we're also getting to know them like because they do the trip every year. As they mature, you know, they kind of interact maybe a little differently and they go through different life phases. So I'm enjoying that part, and I definitely love like the jokes and the banter.
The little insiders.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mentioned it before, but I think one of the things I really like about it and found refreshing is that the guy is like an introvert and a nerd and like very awkward. And you literally never see them romance ever.
Mhm.
And it's just like kind of refreshing. And of course, she has to slip in that he has like 6-pack abs and like a perfect body. And I'm just like rolling my eyes about that. Like, of course, he can't just be like a nerd. He has to also be like perfect body and like, you know, but I don't know. When I picture him in my head, I don't really picture him that way. I picture him more like as just like kind of a dork. I don't know. And I kind of like that.
A strong, muscular runner.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Does his running.
Goes to the gym all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel
Like, is this the
Alka
only
Seltzer
way
has
she
so
could
much
sell
stuff.
it, like to her publisher, if she makes sure he has 6-pack abs?
Hmm. Yeah.
I wonder too if Alex will open up more and talk more about like his family life, because it seems like he kind of went through like some stuff too. I mean, so did Poppy, but it seems like she, well, you know, since Alex is introvert, like I feel like there's more we don't know about him so far. So I'm kind of curious about that and how that plays into like how he perceives the relationship with Poppy. I mean, romantic relationship with Poppy.
It seems like the main thing that they've mentioned so far is that his dad was very, very, very religious, but that seemingly changed over time. But that maybe is why he's kind of, I don't know, more cautious and more worried about like family stuff than she is, or I don't know. It seems like for her, it's more that she feels like the runt of her family, and then she feels like she was bullied a lot, so she feels kind of insecure about people accepting her for who she is.
Yeah, the last part was all about, she was saying like she'll never be understood, but I feel like Alex is the one who understands her. Like the only one. I wonder if we'll get more information on his ex, Sarah, too.
Yeah, because that part when they introduced her, and I think, who was she dating? She was dating some guy, and she was like happy for him. She's like, oh yeah, go for it. Go and talk to her, blah blah blah. And
Guillermo,
it's like,
right?
oh, huh?
Is it Guillermo?
I think so.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it's interesting. I also there's a part where he's like the older brother and she's the youngest. And I remember someone had told us, or me, or I don't remember, that, or I think I've seen that the perfect match or whatever is when it's not like the oldest and the oldest together because you're both fighting to be like protective or whatever, or like the youngest because you're both trying to be the spoiled brats. I'm just kidding. That's not how they was described. But it's like it's better when it's like an oldest and like youngest because you don't have like you're not clashing with the same role that you've always had your whole life. And that's them. And so I'm like, that's how it works, but they're just not admitting it to themselves. Although I think Alex, like even way back when they first got the ride from college, and she was like, wait, how did you know? So it seemed like he has always kind of been trying to get more information on her, or not necessarily stalking, but he's slowly trying to get himself in there and like eventually make a move, but it's so many years. Like, come on, dude. I don't know. She's still more in denial than him. Sorry.
That's part of the reason I like the book is like the subtle angst of him
Yeah.
trying to figure things out.
Yeah.
It's my favorite type.
I think he's
No, go ahead.
no, that was it. I was just gonna be like
Yeah.
schemey.
Yeah.
And like Taylor Swift masterminding, but not too
Mhm.
not too obvious and out there because it's taking, what was it, 12 years? 12 summers?
Mhm.
Like, my dude, you're going too slow.
Yeah. But there's also like they call them tropes, I think.
Yeah.
And it's like the I don't want to ruin this friendship.
Friends to lover trope, yup.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Sarah might show up at the wedding too, and that might cause some angst.
The what?
I think
At the
that
wedding?
Sarah, like, what if she gets invited to the wedding and then they all go and it's like, oh no, like, does he like me? Does he like her? I think that might happen.
Also, their Airbnb that they're staying in, if that was me, I would be gone. If it was that hot.
It's a
I would
total
max-
plot device. 100%.
Yeah. Like when they have only one bed. Another like trope.
Yeah.
The one bed.
And then he gets sick. That's another trope.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of like that. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of working for me in this instance because like everything keeps going wrong. And it's kind of funny. I don't know. And the rest of the book is kind of like more not doing that as much. So, but yeah, it's kind of funny. Like everything is going wrong, literally everything. And they're still there, like, come on. Mm-mm. Like, you can't be that poor. Like, you live in New York and you can afford groceries. Like, you can afford, I don't know.
Yeah. Or she could call her boss. And yeah, like all their other trips, they're just like, it was so perfect. We just stumbled into this amazing thing. And like, we couldn't afford this caviar, but we could afford 6 cocktails at this other bar. Like,
I just went to New Orleans for the first time late last year. And so the whole New Orleans trip was like, well, my trip was pretty different than that one because I'm not like, I don't know, they seem like they were like 22 at that point and I'm in my 30s, so I'm like trying to, have a less ratchet trip.
Yeah.
But like I like had a ratchet night in the trip and it was kind of reminding me of that one night on it. But yeah, I loved that city so much. But I also went in November where it was cold and a little bit rainy, not boiling hot. So that was also why it's a little bit different of an experience. Have any of you been to the places that they've been to in the book so far?
Yeah, the bookstore, City Lights bookstore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been there too. I love that bookstore.
Mhm.
That's the one we went to, right, Eileen?
Yeah.
Yeah. When they mentioned that, I was like, I have a picture of that. I didn't think it would appear in a book and I'd be like, oh, I was like, wow,
Yeah.
that's cool. So yeah, obviously San Francisco. Palm Springs was the most recent place I've been to a lot. So when she was mentioning that in the beginning compared to like saying, yeah, let's go to Santorini. I mean, I've never been to Santorini, but I was like, really? Palm Springs? That's boring. But then again, I'm like, oh, she's from Ohio. She's living
Yeah.
in New York. I guess it's not boring because you're not in California. I was like, boo.
I've been to Santorini and it is definitely a lot nicer than Palm Springs. Not like Palm
I've
Springs
seen
sucks or anything,
pictures.
but
Yeah, I've seen pictures from my friend who went, and I'm like, you should have gone there. But yeah, I mean, where else have they gone?
the one I went to Palm Springs as a kid and it was like for little quick trips.
Yeah.
But then I went in my 20s in the middle of the summer for like a pool party. And I think I got so heat stroke or whatever, like I threw up on the way home because I was like so overheated. So
Gosh, yeah, definitely hot.
mhm.
So being in that one room with waiting for the thing to come. I'd die.
I went to Palm Springs during the springtime a few years ago, and I already thought it was hot. And I'm not a person who really enjoys heat, so I just remember my boss was like, "Oh yeah, they're gonna put us in a nice hotel very close to the conference center. We can walk." And I was like, "Okay," because I had some questions about just how we get here and there and what gets reimbursed or what doesn't. But the district dropped the ball and they put us like in a pretty like jinky little hotel. And I remember like I took an Uber to the hotel and I traveled down there by myself. And I was like, this looks like one of those hotels where like people get murdered like on
Oh my God.
I don't know, and I just like hid all my stuff in the hotel room, and then it was 3 miles from the convention center. So I was like, I'm not gonna walk that because the conference I wore like, semi like professional like clothing. And I was like, by the time I get there, I'm gonna be all hot and sweaty. I don't care if it's not reimbursed, I'm just gonna get an Uber. And luckily they were reimbursed, but I'm like, I told the boss, like, you're not planning on walking from here, are you? And she was like, oh no. So, it's just definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I did like it. I would like to visit it once more, like not for work, but it's definitely a different vibe for me, like being from Northern California. I was like, this is so different.
Oh yeah.
So different. But I could see how it would be terrible in the summer heat because already in the spring it was like on the edge of being too hot for me to handle.
Mhm.
I haven't been to Palm Springs. I've driven through it, but I did do a Vancouver Victoria Island trip. And I went to a lot of the places, like the Empress Hotel where you can have high tea. I did that trip. So that brought me back. And is that bookstore in San Francisco? The one you
Yeah.
guys were
City Lights.
City Lights?
It's my
Oh.
It's like where the Beats like met and did their beating poetry stuff.
Oh, okay.
There's like upstairs, there's like a poetry room with all the
Mhm.
beat stuff.
Because I've been to Powell's and I've like walked by the Strand, but I've never been to that bookstore.
Mm.
It's by North Beach, right?
Yeah, it's in North Beach.
Yeah.
I just remembered like a tiny little stairs that creak, and then like
Mhm.
the little tiny nooks you can get, like in there. It's very tight, but it's
Mhm.
cute.
I spent too long in there and Rico got mad because he was like, he can only look up books so much. So I spent long in there. But he was like a little cranky when I came out because it was really hot. So I was like, let's get you a gelato. And then he was
Yeah.
It is close to gelatos and stuff like that.
he
Cute.
took a long time in bookstores. And I was like, this was 3 stories. Wow.
Just roam in, see what you find, see what calls your name. Maybe this book, and then you don't get
See
it.
what speaks to you.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it speaks to me. That was so the last time she said that, and she's like, "I'm so hurt." I'm like, "Don't you realize that you being hurt, it's because you wanted to?"
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that could be annoying. I
Yeah.
guess I can see what they're saying, but I don't find her annoying. I just feel like she's in denial.
I like also though that like I'm not like keep totally thinking about how old they are in the flashbacks, but they must be like, at this point they're early 20s because they met in college. And I like that we're seeing like time kind of pass a
Mhm.
little bit and they're kind of changing a little bit and priorities are changing a little bit and I kind of like I like that we're like checking in with them as it's happening. Like it's kind of interesting and I like that we're seeing them change and then seeing them in the future and they're pretty different then too. So
Like we're kind of growing with them, but not really.
The transition is cool. Yeah.
still in denial.
What do you all think about like what you mentioned, Judith, how she was kind of upset that the inside joke he didn't really laugh at it or say a comment back about it. But then I think another part of the book said like, oh, I forgot about that. So for all we know, like he just forgot and he's not like intentionally like trying to diss her, So I don't know. I feel bad for Poppy a little bit where I feel like she's trying so hard, but sometimes you can have inside jokes with some people, but like if there's a lot of gaps in time, like sometimes people might forget or it's not the same anymore, you know, because it's not like as close in time, or the relationship hasn't been sustained for those 2 years. So I feel like it's okay on his end if he's not like, oh, yeah, it's so funny.
Mhm.
The whole like back pain, it's a little fishy to me.
Dr. Julie, tell us.
Well, it's like you went from no back pain to severe back pain like 2 months after collation, like, and he's saying it's because he hunches over. Like,
I was
I don't know.
Could it be a stress thing?
I was just gonna say, like, some trauma thing. I don't know if you guys have seen Never Have I Ever. The new season just came out, but you know, in the beginning where she was like, I can't walk, and it was all the whole like grieving her dad's death, and there was that like major event in her life that just I guess happened. I don't know if that can actually happen, but that's what I felt like that back pain was. I'm like, they were so close, and let's say they did hook up, and then they were like, oh, like something bad just it destroyed the friendship. They made everything awkward, and they had to go their separate ways. They're not talking to each other, and they used to talk to each other. And then he's like, oh, you know, like that was I don't know, but it just seems kind of funny. I'm like, and even the friend, she was like, this athletic guy with back pain. I'm like, why is it? They're making it a big thing, and I'm like, I don't know.
Hmm.
It's weird.
Maybe the author is trying to provoke like a crisis for them to become closer, like by force. Because when you guys were talking, I was just thinking like, oh yeah, he's like running at 5:30 every day, so you think he'd be like pretty limber and muscles relaxed and like ready to go for whatever he needs to do. I don't know how far he's running each day, but I don't know. I feel like running usually makes you like pretty healthy.
Yeah.
I will say, I'm not like the most athletic or fit person, but I was working out one day and I did like squat down or move too fast and I did like pull something or like did something to my nerve and it did like put me out for like the whole night, but I still went to work the next day. I wasn't like laying in a hotel room. It was like a pinched nerve, I think.
Yeah.
So
It's because men, you know, when they're
babies, yeah.
You can't do anything with it. I wonder, maybe it's just a nod to them, like also getting a little bit older. Because I know something
Mhm.
what happened to me.
What I was thinking.
At school, there's some classrooms that have they're portables, you know, and they have the little ramp that goes in. And there was a kid that dropped some scissors, like kind of under the ramp, and he couldn't reach them. So I kind of did like this weird squat, but I had to lean forward more because I was having to like reach under the ramp, not just like normal ground level to where I was, and I was a little bit on an incline. And I pulled like something near my groin, and I was like, "Ow!" And like that lasted for a good month, I think, just like a little pinch, like in my upper thigh area. And I did a lot of stretches and like hot compresses, and I don't know, my body didn't like that position. So I was like, okay, you know, and I don't think like something like that would happen before.
Or
2
maybe
years ago, I was picking up my cousin's kid who's like 2. He's pretty, you know,
hefty.
heavy for a 2-year-old. I was just picking him up so he wanted to like turn the light on and off. And I threw out my back for 2 weeks. So, but I am not very athletic. So, you know, when you hit your 30s, sometimes things just get, yeah, you just become old. I don't know.
I feel like
But
it's
it was a little
going at
fishy.
20 at 25 is when it just goes boom.
Yeah.
I was gonna say maybe he's not stretching. I don't know. What if he's just going on a run? He's like, oh, I feel great, and then he's not stretching. The writer could have mentioned, oh yeah, he was stretching. I'm just kidding. That'd be boring and fun. But
Yeah, I mean, as you get older, you should be stretching more. Maybe he's never done it, and now he's older, so now it's like.
because did he actually play sports in high school? I can't remember.
I don't know.
I feel like he was
He's
just
a
fit.
gym guy.
I feel like maybe because it said like he was kind of like those mysterious but yet popular guys or something. Right?
Yeah, something about
You know
being
what? I think he did. I think I remember he did play
did?
sports. Yeah. I
Oh.
forget which ones, but I think he did.
Because it made it seem like he was like a jock, but like a shy, smart one, you know? But I don't know. Oh,
My foot pills.
Age. I'm just kidding.
I didn't stretch enough.
Crystal, you look like you're doing a scene from The Office.
I know.
I
I was
am.
like,
Is
is that
that
a-
Michael's
Office?
office. Yeah. This is like if I was Michael.
Yeah, exactly. You just need your mug. World's best.
I
mug.
have
Oh, I think you're gonna
Oh
bring
my
a trivia
God.
mug. I don't know. I don't know if this guy was but I like them, and I hope they end up together. If they don't, I'm gonna cry. I'm just kidding. I won't.
I did want to read ahead, and I thought I could maybe do it and just pretend I didn't, but I resisted and stopped.
I didn't finish reading for the first meeting, and then I was also traveling back from Darlene's place, and because I needed to catch up, I was like, okay, cool, great, I'm gonna keep reading, and then I got to the point, and I was like, great. So I had to start reading something else, which it's good and bad, because I'm like, okay, I'm not in a slum, so I can keep reading whatever. But now I'm mixing stories, and I'm like, I don't think 2 and 3, like listening to a book, reading a book, and then a side book, like that's too much, and my brain can't do. And I'm just saying,
When
but
you
it's
when you put the post on Instagram, it made me laugh because I kind of read the last section in different bursts throughout the day. And I think I had about 3 chapters to go when I saw your Instagram thing, and I was like, yeah, like I could keep reading, So I was like, yeah, me, I want to keep reading. But then I saw like the Tinder part, and I was like, oh, that's intriguing. It made me remember that one time, like we were looking through your Tinder a long time ago.
I have a video that you sent me, and I was like on the floor of the kitchen. Did I match with someone? I was like, oh my God.
It just made me laugh because I was like, oh, of course it ends here. And we're super nosy. Like I think any person would be interested in looking at someone else's Tinder match.
Yeah, you're definitely looking at my profile and like the people. That was funny.
So it made me laugh. It made me think about that.
That's always fun looking at somebody else's dating profile. And
When it's not you.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, yeah,
It's like a
swag,
game.
Yeah.
You're not responsible, that's why. Yeah.
Julie and I have a friend that would like she would just like F with people while we were like there. Like she would just like send them these crazy messages. And that was pretty entertaining.
I think it is fun. Yeah, I don't take it serious.
Mhm.
Or I didn't take it serious. I was gonna say, next weekend is Father's Day weekend. Do you guys want to meet up or completely just skip to the last Sunday?
Well, if we
won't
do
be
that,
able-
aren't we finishing the book?
Yes.
Should we skip to last and on the last meeting? Pardon me, should we skip to last and submit our suggestions like through the chat like last time?
Mm-hmm. We'll kind of do that where we're not really going to talk about the books. You just send the books either individually, how some people did it, or to the group one, up to you, however you want. And then I'll just send the form and then we vote that way. But I'm like, because I could meet up, obviously not on Sunday, but like on one of the weekdays. But at the same time, I'm like, not everyone can. And then there's like, I don't know, it seems very like, oh, this time it's on a Monday or a Tuesday or what, and I kind of want to just keep it on a Sunday. I have it
Sunday,
posted on the
7:30.
Google thing. Sorry, guys. But,
No.
like we'll always have one day and it won't be changing all the time.
Consistent.
anything.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in 2 weeks would be good.
Mm-hmm.
Just
And we
finish it.
also
But
will just-
what's our next theme?
Yeah, I didn't think about that, huh? What's July?
Here we did.
What are we
Yeah.
in? February?
We're
What
in
February? Listen to me. How about what month are we going into?
Yeah, girl, we're in July. We're in June going to July.
Google something for July.
July.
Someone lost
something-
4 months. She was living under a rock. I'm just kidding.
Just throwing it out there. We don't normally do this, but like 4th of July, like we could do like a historical one, or I don't know, like I don't
We could
know.
do
But
that.
also, I don't know if we would all enjoy that. So if we did that,
America.
yeah,
USA.
America, something I don't know.
France also has their Independence Day in July, no?
Oh, they do?
Bastille Day or something.
France?
I thought it was July 14th.
Yeah, you're right. It's Bastille Day. I
Mm.
was in Paris one year when it was happening, and it was very fun.
I was in
Actually, I was
Spain.
thinking, yeah, historical. That'd be
Canada
fun.
Day is in July. July 4th, of course. Camping.
I was saying I was in Spain for one of the 4th of Julys, and it was interesting because it's like it's not the US, so they don't care. We were just at the beach, we're like, let's just drink.
The best place to be in the
Like
4th of
nothing.
July is Mexico, which is what I usually
Or far away with no connection camping and you don't know what's going on.
Last year's was really good with a red, white, and royal blue one I really liked.
Yeah.
That one was a good
Yeah.
trip.
But with
That one's coming out soon.
like it's pretty broad. Like it could be like friends go on a trip, romantic getaway. It could also be like I'm going camping and now it's a thriller. I'm gonna get murdered in the woods.
I was gonna say we haven't done a thriller in a minute.
I always love a good thriller.
Mm.
Don't want to do that? Don't want a thriller? So you can be scared a little bit?
I wouldn't mind being scared a little bit.
I love it.
I love thrillers. You know, before book club, I'd never would never in a million years would I pick up a scary book.
You never would what?
And now I never would have picked up like a scary book, like a thriller. Never before book club. Mm-mm.
Before book club, I would not have picked up romantical books.
You
Look at that,
like
Karina.
romance. What do you mean?
I like the thriller books more. But I
You
know
could even make it like a travel or a summer thriller.
I was gonna
Ooh, that'd be
say
fun.
I do have like a travel like theme, but I haven't put it. We could do that. I like that because I was
Maybe
gonna mention
travel.
travel before I said thriller, and then I realized we haven't done thriller in a minute.
I have one that could fit thriller and like
Okay.
traveling to an island that I pitched.
Or camping and then like
I
thriller.
think Julie had one that fit that description for her pitch, right, Julie? Didn't you have one that was like a thriller travel or thriller vacation or something?
Oh, for this month?
Yeah.
I think so. There's something about
That
Wasn't it
Jennifer
like-
Weiner one.
I think.
It wasn't
It
like
was
the,
a little mystery, huh?
yeah.
There was a mystery one in there. Something about I think the husband had died, or am I thinking of a different one?
Mm,
Oh, the neighbor one, I think someone pitched
mm-hmm,
maybe this month or last month, I think.
mm-hmm.
I'm good with whatever everyone wants to do is fine.
Let's do a book about
National Macaroni Day.
travel thriller.
National Macaroni
What?
Day.
Macaroni?
I'm looking up different themes that could be intriguing, but they're not very good.
I've looked up events for months, and it's kind of weird because how do you make a book about that?
Yeah.
National Donut Day. I'm like, a book
The
that has a
donut that
donut
kills.
in the front.
Oh.
Yeah, so
Yeah, I feel like the everyday's National Donut Day. I guess National Donut Day. Okay, not every month.
That's silly.
yeah, let's do it. Find your thriller book somehow related to some travel, camping, or somewhere else. Yeah, we can do that.
Sounds
Gotta
good.
start looking. Cool.
Ooh.
So yeah, read the rest
Choo.
of the book because we're not gonna meet up. I can separate it into sections, but I mean, why?
Just finish it, forget about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm probably going to wait until closer to when we are almost going to meet up and then just binge read it so I can have it fresh.
I'm just gonna finish it probably this week.
You know, I kind of want to do that too because it looks good, but I have to decide later, I guess. Maybe I'll just read the Tinder chapter and then stop.
We could have a little discussion in the group chat if you guys want, but I don't know if everyone's gonna try and just read.
Oh, that's true. We might do accidental spoilers that way.
Yeah.
Or if everybody finishes it, maybe we can do like an impromptu like Wednesday meeting. Nah.
Is there a certain date or time you want the pitches by, Judith?
No, it could be by like instead of our meeting, you can send in your book.
Okay.
Yeah, it's because you can send it now if you want, but at least by the Sunday, even though it's like Father's Day, whatever, send it before. But by that Monday, I'm probably gonna start doing the form and then just send it out.
Copy that. Thank
So
you.
if we don't send you one, you're not included.
What?
So if I don't send you one, I'm not included
Yeah,
by Sunday. Okay.
pretty much. You can send it by Wednesday, but I'll be like, oh, sorry, the form's already out. I'm gonna try and be more like, let me not forget the form, because then it doesn't give us enough time to like get the book and
Yep.
but I'm gonna try to not slack off because sometimes I forget too. So if you guys stay on top of it, then I'll try to stay on top of it.
Sounds good.
Cool. What do you think will
I
happen
tried to.
since we won't
Oh my
meet
God.
again?
What?
What do you think will happen since the next time we meet, we'll know the end?
I think
I
it's
feel like
gonna
They'll get in a
Sarah's-
big fight.
I think Sarah's gonna come to the wedding, or there's gonna be like a showdown.
Sarah.
I'm just kidding.
I think that something's going to like trigger Poppy into going into crisis mode and freak out. And then she's gonna have to like find it within herself. Sorry for this thing. She's gonna have to like find it within herself to be like, I'm a confident woman. Like, even if he doesn't end up with me, like I'll be okay, I feel like I just feel like I will like it better if she kind of like has kind of like that self-realization before she ends up with him or not. I think it'll be more natural. Then she won't be like, oh, like he's like rescuing me kind of, I guess. But if that happens too, I mean, I think it'll be okay. I don't know. That's what I think might happen.
Oh my gosh.
Or they might get married. Who knows?
At the wedding? At the
A double
brother's
wedding,
Yeah,
a
maybe.
double.
Oh, I had not considered that.
Oh my gosh. There's a movie where whoever's gonna get married, they're like, no, you guys get married, and they get married instead of them.
Is it Mama
So
Mia?
if they to save the flowers or some shit.
Yeah,
They've
Mama-
already gotten like paid for the venue.
In Mamma Mia, Meryl Streep gets married instead of Amanda
Yes,
Seyfried.
there you go. Thank you for
That was
completing my
Karina.
sentence. Oh,
Remember?
thank you for completing my thought.
Was it like we watched that movie when you were going through like an ABBA phase, right? I remember.
Yeah, I was listening to Abba a lot. I love musicals, so it's a perfect one. But yeah.
I have some discussion questions in the back to my book for like the last meeting that we can go over.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't really know what else might happen, but I'm looking forward to reading like the rest of their travels throughout the years too. I think that's going to be really insightful.
Yeah, I do like the traveling part.
I'll just say
This would
won't
have
give
been
any-
good for next month.
It won't give anything away that I say it, but there's that like tarp on the balcony that will come back in a scene.
Ooh, I'm just kidding.
Won't say how or why or in what way.
The wind's gonna blow, someone's gonna get tangled in and fall off the edge.
Oh, don't tell me a death. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Crystal looks so funny. I can't stop laughing at your background. You just look like you're just like typing, and then you're like,
Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It looks
I
like you're at your
know.
desk.
That's why I said she looks like she's in the office, but I'm like, we already said that, but like she literally looks like she's working.
It's because my leg cramped. I had to straighten it out. I
Oh.
don't have space going this way, so I have to go.
She's on another meeting, that's why she's okay. Working overtime, I get it. Oh man. Okay. How exciting. Excuse me? Hold on.
I'm still in my meeting. I read her lips. Okay, 2 minutes.
No, I said okay,
Ah,
that's fine. I just said peace, I
that's
said
cool.
bye. Like, hello. They're not used to
Okay.
the Sunday meetings, clearly. I'm gonna have to
Put a
talk to
sign.
them and be like, sorry, there's
They
a
do
meeting
not
on Sundays now, not Tuesdays. Because they got used to
What is it?
Tuesdays.
Put something on the door that says, what is it? Is it on air? No.
I was gonna
In
say
progress.
recording in session.
Okay, there you go. Have a light switch outside where it's like the light turns on.
Look, a whole little neon.
Yeah.
Bro, invest look into it. That'd be funny. Just for giggles.
Cora wouldn't get it though.
No.
Cora doesn't. She's still Pakistan. But okay, well.
All right. Till next week.
Yeah,
Or not next week, till 2 weeks.
in 2 weekends. Yeah. Oh my goodness. It'll be interesting. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Good night. And a good rest of your week.
Mhm.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.